We're getting married, Ricky.
Flight slow.
I was on a plane to California. I had all the time I ever need.
Marriage and flying. Marriage and flying! Hello, tubers, and today we'll keep it a little light. I'm always fascinated by statistics and trivia, so I thought we might compare two things very common in society and compare them. No, not death and taxes, which are definitely inevitable, but marriage and flying, which is almost inevitable for most people. Now you're thinking, what up with that? They do have several things in common, as most people fly and most people marry, yet few consider that both can obviously fail.
Adjust vertical speed.
And one can fail much more often on a personal level than you might think with maybe one of them. First of all, don't get your poop in a knot. This is just fun. So don't start quoting Deuteronomy on me or whatever favorite you might have. Thus saith the Lord.
Shake and bake.
So let's just let the data speak for itself. Flying and marriage needs to be compared, so let's take a look. The odd thing that seems obvious before we even look at the data is that most of us know tons of people in marriages that have failed. Yet we know so few folks in jet airplane crashes personally, especially those who have been in several jet airplane crashes. Or do I mean marriage failures? I don't know. I'm getting all confused now. When you board an Airbus A330 and fly from London Heathrow to JFK in New York, chances are high you will actually arrive there without failure. Why is it that when you embark upon a marriage, the chance of failure is 40 to 50%? Would you fly if the odds were like that? Yeah, I know a few of you out there love the risky lifestyle and might do it if this were actually true and similar. So the odds of a crash on a typical flight is about 0.0019%. But the odds of a typical marriage crash is about 40 to 50%. Of course, a flight is usually shorter than a marriage, you're probably thinking. And you would be right, unless you are a celebrity in search of an overnight annulment, that is.
Leave Brittany alone!
So you ask, how long do I have to fly to have a 99% chance of a crash? About 14,719 years of flying. Of course, if you were in a bad marriage, you definitely might be hoping for an early death, but flying sadly isn't the way to die sooner. Walking mile for mile is even more dangerous than flying. And speaking of walking down the aisle is more dangerous than if you flew down the aisle in an American-registered jet aircraft, speaking only on a foot-by-foot safety comparison. And the risks increase more with each marriage, or should I say with more feet traveled down the aisle on a subsequent basis. Yes, to be completely honest, flying more often also increases your risk of a crash, but the odds are so low I won't bore you with the decimal place percentages. You have a better chance of winning a decent jackpot in your local casino than crashing. And you might want that jackpot to pay for a decent divorce lawyer if you won. It seems like marriage is the worst casino bet you might ever make in your life, compared to other things at least. Which brings us to talking about how long it takes for a typical marriage to fail. About 11 years. Strangely, the majority of jet aircraft retire after years of service and never see any fatalities or failures resulting in death. So what can cause a marriage to fail? Often it is infidelity. In aviation, conversely, the motivation for your married pilot to see their extramarital partner on a layover in Cincinnati is something beneficial to you and usually a strong motivator for him or her to fly the plane a wee more carefully.
There are some extremely odd things about this.
So in closing, I beg you to consider the risks of aviation travel and marriage the next time you consider either option. And please, raise your seat back and place your tray in the upward closed position upon takeoff and landing, and for God's sakes, wear a seatbelt and a condom. Or just don't get married or fly. Hey, it's your life, live it as you choose. Take care of yourselves out there, and bye-bye.
Climb, crossing, climb, 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 clear of conflict.